30 seconds.
It's exciting.
I'm starving.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So are kids in Africa.
I'm hungry. Excuse me.
15 seconds, boys and girls. Don't fuck up. 10, 9, 8. You guys are gonna 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's Monday, September 15th, 2014. This is PSN News. Tonight on PSN News, we'll have the latest on the shooting of a state trooper.
We'll also take a look at the latest Middle Eastern airstrikes coming up on PSN News.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mike Gilbert.
And I'm Shannon Ryan. People in Philadelphia caught with small amounts of marijuana may soon face no more than a written citation and a modest fine. As of Thursday, the city is working to decriminalize the drug after a reversal made by Mayor Michael Nutter. If this is approved, it will be effective as of October 20th. People stopped with less than 1 ounce of marijuana will be fined $25, and those caught using it in public will be fined $100 or will be required to perform up to 9 hours of community service. In neither situation will violators be arrested, taken to police stations, fingerprinted, or left with a criminal record.
A Pennsylvania state trooper was killed and another left critically wounded after a police barracks in Blooming Grove was attacked last Friday. Corporal Brian K. Dixon II, a Marine Corps veteran who joined the state police in 2007, will be laid to rest this Thursday. The wounded trooper, Alex Douglas, has undergone surgery and is currently conscious and talking. Police are still hunting for the killer, and although they are following up on leads, they have no known motive. The attack occurred at around 10:50 p.m. as one of the troopers was leaving the barracks and the other was arriving. A nonprofit group has offered a $50,000 reward for tips on the assault.
Last Wednesday, members of the Penn State community expressed solidarity for the events in Ferguson, Missouri. The National Council of Negro Women and Ash Theater organized a Don't Shoot photo on the steps of Old Main Lawn. The photo featured students and faculty with their hands up in the air in reference to Michael Brown. The teenager was fatally shot last month by a police officer while unarmed and holding up his hands. The photo was then distributed through social media with the goal of raising awareness on racism and police brutality.
Journalism ethics were brought to the forefront on Tuesday when Dr. Thomas E. Patterson came to speak at the library. The Harvard University professor shared an intimate look at the relationship between journalism and politics and the vital role journalism plays in decision-making.
If journalists are going to be one of the primary mechanisms through which we understand politics, by which we inform ourselves so that as citizens we can make good judgments, then the quality of journalism comes to the fore.
Patterson's speech was part
of a series sponsored by the McCourtney Institute of Democracy here at Penn State. State College burrito enthusiasts are still confused as to why the popular Mexican food chain Chipotle temporarily closed last week. This past Wednesday, the popular Mexican grill locked their doors in the middle of the day when a note was placed on the door asking customers to inquire corporate officers on their borderline sweatshop working conditions and the resignations of many of its employees. The reason for the note was that several employees had quit and the current workers at the Chipotle on Heister were forced to work 10 to 12-hour shifts. Chipotle was reopened later that evening and was just as packed as ever.
A Pennsylvania judge removed 3 Penn State trustees from a lawsuit filed by Joe Paterno's estate on Thursday. Some university faculty and former Nittany Lion players were removed as well. The case was not entirely thrown out, but Judge John Leet gave the remaining plaintiffs an extended period in order to modify their claims to make them more specific. The remaining plaintiffs include former assistant coaches Jay Paterno and Bill Kenny, as well as ex-Board of Trustee member Al Clemens. Bowl eligibility and a full return of scholarships were handed down from the NCAA this past week, yet the university will still have to pay a $60 million fine as part of the remaining sanctions stemming from the Jerry Sandusky child sex abuse scandal.
Homecoming is quickly approaching, and with that, Grand Marshal Laura Spencer's return to Penn State. So who is this woman? And with that, here's Mikkel Jones.
Just before freshmen could attend their first set of classes, the 2014 Homecoming Executive Committee needed to make an important announcement at the Be Apart from the Start pep rally. Madison Benfield, the Alumni Relations Director, along with the rest of the Homecoming Executive Committee, also known as HEC, revealed the name of this year's Grand Marshal, Good Morning America anchor and Penn State alum Lara Spencer, who, as you can see here, has shown her excitement through social media. Leading up to the big announcement, Madison and the rest of HEC threw different names around that varied from old athletes to even current CEOs, but the committee eventually came to vote on Lara.
I think the reason that Heck liked Lara so much, just like her personality and the spirit she has. I played interviews and like different episodes and clips from Good Morning America. I think people automatically wanted to know her, be her best friend. Right. And I think her spirit's something that Penn State will really get to see when she's in the parade and here on campus.
On top of her many other planned activities, Madison says that Lara might even take a trip to another familiar place on campus, the natatorium. Because what many don't know is that Lara was actually an athlete herself at Penn State, representing the diving team. We were able to catch up with Lara's old coach, Craig Brown, who was able to give us the scoop on Lara's diving skills.
She's a fabulous diver. She couldn't jump real high, but boy, she could get in the water clean as anybody in the country. And she really worked hard. She was always on time. She ended up as an All-American for us here at Penn State, one of our first female, maybe second female diver to accomplish that.
When on the road for diving meets, Craig's love for antique stores had him making pit stops at many of them, and Lara wouldn't be too far behind.
I take her to these antique stores. Well, apparently that piqued her interest in antiques. Eventually she owned an antique store, and then she landed the Antiques Road Show host job, which was really kind of neat that it was spin off of something that's crazy, just dragging her to antique stores every time we travel.
In less than 2 weeks, all of the floats and homecoming participants will line up here along the IM fields, waiting for Lara to lead them through campus and downtown State College. From University Park, Mikkel Jones, PSN News.
The ozone is reportedly healing. What does that mean for climate change? Find out after this.
You ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year? The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year? The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
President Obama announced a military campaign targeting Islamic fighters with airstrikes last Wednesday. Obama says the intent of the broad military campaign is to degrade and ultimately destroy Islamic State militants wherever they exist. The president also announced he is dispatching 475 more U.S. troops to Iraq to assist the nation's security forces, but says they will not be on a combat mission. Obama also called on Congress to authorize a program to train rebels in Syria who are fighting both the Islamic State group and Syrian President Bashar Assad.
Another beheading video was released by Islamic State militants on Saturday. The video depicted the murder of British aid worker David Haynes, who had appeared in the beheading video of U.S. journalist Steven Stotloff, released 10 days ago. The video is almost identical to that of Sotloff and of the U.S. journalist James Foley, with the only difference being that UK Prime Minister David Cameron was addressed rather than President Obama. Clips of Cameron speaking about the UK decision to arm the Kurds to fight ISIS were featured, and the killer also referenced the U.S. campaign of airstrikes in Iraq.
45 United Nations peacekeepers from Fiji are safe and recovering today, less than 4 days after being released by a radical Islamic rebel group who had kidnapped them over 2 weeks ago. The rebel forces, referred to as the Nusra Front, took the Fiji representatives after the group accidentally overran the Kinter border, crossing between Israel and Syria. This al-Qaeda Syrian affiliate originally demanded monetary compensation and humanitarian aid in a rebel-controlled area. But it's unclear if the rebels' demands were met.
3 Paraguayan bus drivers have nailed their hands to crosses as a protest after having their bus route cut without advance notice. Elvio Cristaldo and Eligio Martinez decided to crucify themselves in San Lorenzo to make a point to the company Denantran. Last year, a group of drivers staged a similar protest and got their jobs back after 20 days nailed to crosses. It is understood that the drivers are paid for every journey they take, and since the number of trips have been cut, there is less of an opportunity for them to work.
Stratospheric ozone completion is now being referred to as a success thanks to a global corporation. The most up-to-date scientific assessment of the ozone depletion reports that the ozone layer will become fully restored within decades, the most specific estimate being around 2050. Ozone depletion has been dubbed an environmental crisis in the 1980s, and since then, multiple global compliance regulations have been issued to phase out ozone depleting chemicals.
A group of popular websites launched online protest on Wednesday against proposed changes to net neutrality. Companies including Netflix, Vimeo, and Reddit are still using a loading symbol to protest the world of frustratingly slow internet. They say it could come about if the U.S. Federal Communications Commissions gets rid of net neutrality. Net neutrality means treating all traffic that flows through the internet equally, allowing for an open internet and open information flow. The FCC has suggested changing net neutrality since 2010 to allow cable companies to grant paying customers faster service, but ban them from slowing down or banning the access of non-paying companies. But recent court cases have led the protesting websites to believe that these changes will allow large corporations to control how users experience the internet. Now, internet service providers can block content they disagree with or slow down access to websites who can't afford to pay what corporations can for higher speeds.
A customer is suing Home Depot over allegations of not properly encrypting customer data. According to a lawsuit filed in Chicago federal court, the national chain confirmed that its payment security systems have been breached, affecting its customers in stores all across the United States and Canada. Several credit card details, including PIN numbers and security codes, were being sold online on an underground website. The U.S. federal government launched an investigation of the stolen credit card information last Tuesday.
And we'll be right back after this with this week's weather forecast. Dude, that one...
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning.
Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Good evening, Penn State. This is student meteorologist Faith Eretz here with your campus weather service forecast for September 15th, 2014. Very glad to say I have mostly great news for you here this week. Although there will be some showers moving through the area tonight and very early tomorrow morning, for the most part, I'm forecasting a beautifully sunny, cool week for you here at Penn State, a fantastic beginning to fall this year. As you can see here on our Futurecast radar, there will be some showers moving through the area very early tomorrow morning, but they should be cleared out of Penn State except for a few spotty clouds here for even the earliest of birds on Tuesday. So do not worry, for the rest of this week, we will see very clear skies throughout New England and Pennsylvania well into Wednesday and late this week. Let's take a look here at our 7-day forecast. You can see I was not lying. We do have some beautifully sunny days coming for us this week after some showers very early tomorrow morning. And temperatures will sit beautifully in the high 60s. We will not see 70s until Saturday or Sunday, which I'm sure no one will complain about. All I can say here, besides asking you to enjoy the week, is that if you go out tonight, or any night this week really, for some IM games or maybe some late night study sessions, make sure you bring a sweatshirt or a light jacket with you because those temperatures will drop pretty quickly when the sun sets with these clear skies. And we all know what the weekend here means. Fantastic weather for a football game here this weekend. We are kicking off here at Beaver Stadium against Massachusetts at 4 o'clock. It will be very sunny throughout the day, throughout the entire game, and temperatures will reach 70 at the warmest. So they should start cooling down around the time of the game, but besides for a light jacket for maybe the fourth quarter, it will be a very comfortable, pleasant, beautiful game. So make sure you head out to that this weekend. And that's all I've got for you this week. From the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm Faith Eretz. Have a great night.
Another big football win for Penn State. I'll be right back with the latest.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
All right, you ready for some baseball trivia?
Let's do it.
What year produced the most no-hit games in the big leagues?
7 no-hitters in 1990.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not trivial. How many children will witness bullying this year?
Huh.
The answer? 3 out of 4.
75%?
That's
Wow.
right. How many of them will say something?
Kids want to help, but don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov.
Hello everyone, I'm Christine Rienza with this week's Sports Wrap-Up. The Nittany Lions had a dramatic victory in High Point Solutions Stadium this past Saturday. The 13-10 win over Rutgers came late in the game. The Scarlet Knights had a 10-0 lead at the end of the third quarter. Sam Ficken kicked the 2 field goals to bring the score to 10-6. With less than 2 minutes left in the game, quarterback Christian Hackenberg found Gino Lewis for a 23-yard pass. Bill Belton followed through with a 5-yard touchdown. The attendance for the game was a record-breaking high of 53,000 for Rutgers. Penn State women's field hockey hosted the Lafayette Leopards this past weekend for their second match of the weekend. Alex Blankman was at the game with more.
The Penn State Nittany Lions field hockey team looks to take on 4-1 Lafayette here at home. Penn State coming off a big win against Princeton. They look to remain high in the AP polls, currently ranked 6th. The Nittany Lions women's field hockey team started off by allowing an early goal to Lafayette. But just as momentum looked to be on Lafayette's side, Penn State responded quickly with Jenna Christmer's first of 2 goals on the day to help put the Nittany Lions up 3-1 at halftime. Right out of the break, Laura Gabhart found the back of the net after launching it from the back sideline, and later, the Lions' 5th and final goal on the day was scored by Kristen Gochnauer, who came off the bench to make her only shot of the game. Leading shot taker was the Nittany Lions' leading goal scorer on the season, senior forward Taylor Harold, with 6 shots on goal. The story of the day, though, was Penn State's defense, only allowing 3 shots on goal throughout the entire game compared to the 27 they took on Lafayette. Penalties committed by the Leopards was a major factor in the game as well, allowing 4 penalty corners in the first half and 8 in the second for a combined 12, while the Nittany Lions only allowed 1 on the day.
The Penn State team won the Villanova Classic over the weekend. The Nittany Lions first beat out American in 4 sets. Freshman Allie Franti and redshirt junior Ayanna Whitney were the game's standout players. Franti led the offense with 12 kills, 3 digs, and 2 blocks. Whitney tallied a career high of 5 blocks and 8 kills. They knocked out Villanova in straight sets Friday evening. Junior Megan Courtney had 14 kills and 8 digs. Whitney and Franti both had 10 kills, while senior Misha Hancock led the offense with 47 assists. The Lions captured first place by beating number 24 Kansas in straight sets. The 16th-ranked Penn State men's soccer team upset Indiana over the weekend 1-0. 27 minutes into the game, sophomore defender Mason Clark shot the ball straight past the weekend at the 2014 Harry Grove Spike Shoe Invitational this past Saturday. The men's team took first place with 41 points. Syracuse took second and Georgetown took third place. 5th-year senior Matt Fisher took first place in the individual 5.2-mile course, finishing in 26 minutes. The women amounted to 27 points to claim the first-place team title as well. The women's team is currently ranked 29. And that's all for this week's sports. PSN News will be right back after this.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face me.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried.
Wow, that's right. Now a question that's not true.
Penn State had 2 football-related rallies this past week. Take a look.
On Monday, the NCAA lifted the on-the-field sanctions placed on the Penn State football team during the Jerry Sandusky scandal. This immediately eliminated the postseason ban and rescinded some of the scholarship sanctions. The scholarships will be fully restored come 2015. Penn State will still be required to pay the $60 million fine, but the money will be absorbed by the state of Pennsylvania and redistributed throughout the state. By 9 o'clock Monday evening, hundreds of students had gathered in front of Old Main to celebrate the good news. Many students were excited to share with us what the day's events meant to them.
It means so much that Penn State is able to show who we really are, that the actions of a few do not affect everybody, they don't affect the students, that we as a community are rising above it and we're moving on, and it's great, we are.
It means everything. I mean, we're going to be nationally ranked now, we're going to be playing for actually something, and as a community we pull together, and this means everything, not only to me, but the whole campus. I thought I was going to be in grad school at some point when this happened, but I saw it today when I was studying in the library, and I left the library, the soon as it happened, and I've never been happier.
The crowd then moved from Old Main to Beaver Stadium and eventually to Beaver Avenue, where thousands of students rallied peacefully amidst a sea of crowd surfers, mattresses, uprooted stop signs, and traffic cones. 14. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to check us out on Twitter at PSN News.
And make sure to watch us every Monday night live at 7 p.m. Have a good night, and thanks for watching.